People were excited for this. We've got tons of emails. I guess we're going to start the show now. You got fans, dude. I checked the emails. There's fucking 200 emails. They got questions for this guy, but I got all the questions for him.
Oh, God. That's good.
This is going to be fun, man. We're very, very grateful. We're super excited. This is a big deal for you and I, Banks.
Oh, it's a huge deal. I'm nervous. Super nervous.
Except for the shitty weed.
Now, here regrettably is the Shane Show.
Hey, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday afternoon. I still haven't gotten out of the whole holiday warp week scenario. It's Tuesday afternoon. So you blew off almond milk grind.
I had to work. I was going to miss this because I was scheduled to work. But I asked if I could make the almond milk later. I have to make 3 hours worth of almond milk later on, and so I'm doing this first.
I drink almond milk.
Oh yeah, I'll make you some.
All
I know
right.
how to make it.
Organic.
Okay.
I don't want to hear about your guys' almond milk.
No,
bonding.
I'll make you some, please. I make the best almond milk. I do.
We have Sebastian Stan in the studio. We're very excited. This is going to be a fun interview. Hold on a second. Hi, Anthony. Now, Banger, do you realize this guy's a big fan of yours?
No.
I swear to God.
I don't believe that.
A couple years ago, and this is all through Ethan Russell, young player. I met Sebastian about, I want to say I met Sebastian 7 years ago? 6 years ago?
I think the last
We were outside of a nightclub. First of all, Zombie, do you accept...
It's a little bit better than the last time I really remember meeting you, which was after a breakup at a coffee bean.
No, I remember that convo, too. Zombie, I just want to get this out of the way. Zombie, do you accept that face?
Yeah, it's not too shabby, Shane. It's not too shabby at all.
You accept that face?
It's acceptable, yeah.
All right. About 7 years ago, I met Sebastian. This was 6 years ago. When did we were outside of a nightclub. By the way, don't stand too close to this guy if you're out on any level and single, because it doesn't work out very well for you.
What does that mean?
Well, he's a good-looking guy.
Very complimentary. I don't know.
That's
about
a complimentary
so
thing.
he takes all the hot girls.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
But we got into this. Here's what happened. And you know me, I'm anybody that's about to be a big movie star, famous guy, I'm already ready to hate.
Yeah.
I start with hate and work backwards. So Ethan's like the guy, my buddy in the thing, and he's about to be the new winter dragon.
Right. That's exactly.
And I'm like, well, that poor guy's about to ruin his fucking life.
Why?
Well, this was
Because he's going to...
this back then. So I had this very heavy conversation where I went heavy, and the guy was like ready to go and have a thoughtful discussion about his life. I'd met him for 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking to myself, that's a solid guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not he didn't bullshit around. He wasn't like trying to do the niceties and like keep it. He was ready to go into a conversation with me.
He earned your respect.
Now, this is why I'm not an agent.
Right.
Because I said, that's a bad idea.
Right.
Do you remember this conversation?
that. You said you were too nice, right? Or no?
I said, I don't think you should do the fucking Winter Dragon. I said, don't do that because then you get pegged into the whole Marvel thing and you should go and do you remember this? Were you drunk?
Well, if I was in LA with at a nightclub 7 years ago, that probably yes.
So anyway, he did not take my advice, and things have worked out pretty well for him.
Right, so you had not made the decision to do that. There was possible that
Well,
he could have swayed
I'm trying to
your...
recollect this meeting that we're having basically right now. But I remember you saying that it maybe would have ended up in a typecasting situation and like kind of that, you'd be stuck in a thing maybe.
By the way, he crushed. I was very impressed with him. And that, Ethan and I were close. I was also a mess and coming on way too strong, I'm sure, to everybody. But then years later, when I got more in my head, we had another really nice conversation about life and love, and that was when we first connected, right?
Yeah, I feel like that was around, that was a good time when we connected then, and then we've connected since, like a few times.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm excited for him. let me ask you. Let me get into the. I don't want to talk. I don't really care about the. We're gonna get into the relation, like love and life, but I don't want to talk about specifics. I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
And that's the lowest common denominator. I don't
Right,
give a
yeah.
shit who this guy's having sex
Who
with.
are you, Ryan
He's
Seacrest?
having sex
No.
with whoever he wants.
Same
That's
power.
the answer to that question.
Hmm.
But I want to get into. I want to get into this. Walk me through Sunday night at the Globes.
Oh,
You're
dear
in a
God.
suit. You're at the dinner.
Right.
Because it's like the little dinner before, right?
They actually don't give you any food whatsoever, and so that was definitely not helping. My
So they don't feed you
situation.
before?
They don't really. They bring you like a salad. You have like these little
A
cucumber
salad?
sandwiches that are there all night, and Mary J. Blige was not eating them. She was sitting next to me, and so I didn't really pick on them either. And then you know all you have is this big Moet bottle, and you know I was watching Hugh Jackman pour himself a hefty glass, so I guess. I was like, all right, I guess I'll be okay. But, you know, I ended up having to go up there. That up until 2 days before, I didn't know that I was going to have to go up there and be a human
By
being.
the way, you
in
look
front of these
great.
people.
You look great, and people can fuck that up. That whole presenter thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a real tightrope you're walking, and you did great. You are, and here's the deal. I want to know this.
So you watched them. You watched the Globes.
I watch them all. I go to this thing every year. I go to a party and we do the pool. I've lost 17 years in a row. Your girl, actually, I took your girl. I took Margot because I do think she's had the. I do think without
Unbelievable year,
she's
yeah.
had the best
Yeah.
performance of the year.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
know the little girl in the fucking Lady
Shearsha?
Birds.
Shearsha?
Shearsha.
Is that how you say Shearsha?
I think you say
And you can-
Sorsha.
Rona. Yeah. Lady-
Sorsha.
Oh, and you
Yeah.
can have no comment about all the things that you can just be like, I'm not trying. This is not a gotcha interview. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get him in any trouble.
Good.
But from an outsider perspective, who's been sort of around people that are in this business a long time, that Margot Robbie performance is by far the best performance of the year, only to be maybe outmatched by my pass, who was also in the movie, Allison Janney.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
incredible in
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and so is Margot. And Margot got fucked by the Circe. What's Circe
Sorsha.
Ronan,
Sorsha
right.
seems like a nice
in the
girl.
Lady Bird.
Yeah.
And I seen the Lady Bird, and
You
guess
didn't-
what? I saw the movie 6 years ago. Shit's called Juno.
Okay. Well, this joke works.
There's this
Same
whole
joke keeps working. That's a good joke.
No, but that movie,
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch, and this is a biopic. That Tanya Harding, that's a tough thing to get cracking, and Margot Robbie murders that role. Does she not?
I mean, without a doubt, you know, she definitely like if you watch the 30 for 30 Price of Gold, that's Tanya Harding and whatnot, and you play that, and then you watch Margot in the movie as the older version, for example. Like
It's
you
frightening.
get it's parallels, you know, it's crazy, and some of the skating stuff too.
Okay, so let's just stop there. You're at the Globes.
Right.
You see all these people flying around you.
Yes.
And these are people that when you were a kid, you're like, holy shit, that's Oprah.
Of course. Or you know, I would have been probably. I had an easier time saying hi to her than to Denzel. I'll say that.
Okay, so
He
there's
did not-
Denzel,
he was
and you're
not
just
very
like,
approachable.
but
you know,
but I mean, you got to be. Is this the first time you were at the Globes?
Yeah, well, it was really for me. I had been at the viewing party before, you know, which is like this other thing sort of backstage, which is kind of fun. You sit there, you get to see a lot of your peers and people you know, and but then to be in the actual room, it was the first time.
Okay, so hold on. They got a side room you show up to
There's
until
a-
you're big enough to get on the fucking on the sandwich
I guess
floor,
so, yeah, there's a
and you go to the secondary one. What's that about?
It's-
There ain't no cameras back there. This shit's got to be more fun.
It is more fun. Everyone
Right.
lets loose and has a good time, and then they do eat actually at that part. You know,
What did you do in the There's a secondary hang.
Well,
I never knew this. I'm 50. There's a
becomes-
second room.
Yeah, it becomes a whole thing after the Globes are done when basically everybody goes there. But while they're happening, all these people are in this room watching it and kind of having a party, which is a lot of fun. So I'd gone to that.
Now, are you able to go to the because you got your ticket now. You're sitting at the big table and you got the thing.
Yeah,
and
but I was scared.
Are
to
you
leave.
able to go back to the secondary room between
You
commercial
can,
breaks?
You can, yeah, as long as you have your ticket. But I was scared to leave my seat.
Your ticket's right here, man.
No, they don't care about that.
They don't care about
No,
that.
The ticket is in the form of in your hand.
Why were you scared to leave your seat?
Because somebody was going to take it. The seating stuff is so tricky. I think over there, in terms of, and also I think they have people that maybe sort of replace the seats,
seat
when you're gone
fillers,
or something like that. Maybe,
right?
But I didn't want to go up there during Oprah's speech, for example, and be the one that has no seat and is looking, and I ended up sitting on Hugh Jackman's wife's lap.
So you
at one point, which was.
Wait, the seat filler, does the seat filler guy look like you?
No, definitely not.
They don't do that. Well, but there's some kind of
But
situation.
why would they do that? Just so it looks like
I don't know. I've seen them. They put the pictures on the seats. Was your picture on your seat?
No, and it's actually, you don't even have a name. There wasn't even a name thing on there. And I'd gotten there really early, so I was hanging on to my seat. I thought, okay, I better I took the side seat. I thought that was going to be the safe seat, that way everyone can kind of
You can't take no side seat no more, man. You ain't in the secondary shit. You're like a real guy now.
I was testing the water. I was trying to see what the whole thing was about. It was a little bit more nerve-wracking than I thought.
Were you able to get comfortable? This is your first time doing this. This will not be your last. That we all know.
Let's just say when Allison Janney won, I let out such a loud scream that I thought, I was like, there's the kid from the Eastern European country, sitting at the big table. I actually was too loud, I think.
Are you able to pinch yourself or have a minute and go, holy shit, this is pretty crazy that I'm sitting here?
Well, when you're looking around, when you're looking at some of these people, they're like the Tom Hanks and sort of Ridley Scott's and all these people. It is a little surreal for sure, but we were there for a good reason. I'm tremendously proud of the movie. I felt like we had earned being there. I mean, we were shooting we hadn't even shot the movie yet over a year ago. So to have just gotten there and be at this award show in virtually almost the same year was already an achievement. But I felt like I belonged there, so it was good from that.
See, that must feel good because I'm sure there's a lot of people, Vangs, that are at these fucking things, and they're not happy with their performance. They don't like the movie. They didn't, and they feel out of place. Right. But because the work was put in, the product is good, the formulation of the relationships are there. It must feel nice to be able to own the seat that you're sitting in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree, of course.
Now,
Absolutely.
Allison Janney,
that was her first Golden Globe win.
Which is ridiculous.
Out of 6 prior nominations, and she's got 7 Emmys as well.
Was she ever nominated for
the
CJ role for West Wing?
Oh, yeah.
As a Golden Globe and never won?
I know, she's won for sure. As a Golden Globe? No.
So she must have been super excited.
Oh yeah. I think she was thrilled, and we were thrilled too. I mean, so her and the writer Stephen Rogers have a funny story together. They went to college together. He was trying to be an actor for a while. He's been writing parts for her for years, and he can't ever hire her. They could never get her. Basically, they would always want someone else. So he wrote this movie with her in mind for that part, and actually finally had it in writing for her to be that role. And so it's watching the two of them was very funny to me because she's finally, up there for this one role that he always wanted,
to play in his head. How does that movie come to? Because I don't know. I know a little bit, but not enough. This movie comes together how? There's a director. He gets the story.
Margot basically is what makes the movie happen. I mean, it starts with her. She found it on the blacklist, and then was like, I want to develop this, and then they were talking to directors, and Craig was the only one I think that had got the tone of the movie and was really had a very specific take on how he wanted to make it. And that's how they went with it.
Okay, so Vanks, here's what's up. The fucking thing's sitting around. It's this thing called the Blacklist, which is it's a list of 20 great scripts that nobody wants to make. Mm-hmm. I think something like that. Okay, so she sees this shit on the Blacklist. Yeah. This Margot Robbie, this beautiful little girl, and she's like, I want to be Tanya Harding.
Right.
And then she decides I'm connected to it. And then shit starts happening
That
with
makes
the
sense.
property, right?
Yeah.
Then people
Is
are
it-
like, okay, let's get a director and a thing because they just want to get her out there because that's, I mean, how about this? I know there's an artistry to what you, I mean, acting is an art. There are people that study, like my girl. My girl is a trained classical thespian. She's got a degree from Boston University. It's an art form for her.
Right.
There's a lot of people in the fucking movie business that aren't artists, correct?
No, of course. I mean, it's one of those. It's like a fine line. There is an artistry to it, but you don't see it all the time.
Is the
because
business part the worst part of it?
I don't. I mean, maybe yes and no. I think how sometimes these things come together is probably a little
Strange.
Yeah, it's not. And I think there's a lot. Like, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't think talent necessarily is always what gets you the job.
Right.
And I don't know if anyone really judges things by your talent right away. I think that's more like a 5 or 6 on a list of 10 things. That's of importance.
And there's big dudes
But-
at studios that are like, I don't give a shit if she's talented. She's going to get a certain amount of money on a foreign base, and so then we get the movie funded, and then we make the movie, and then it's all. There's 2 parts, I think. There's the artistry of making a good movie, and then there's these other guys that are just bottom lining it like a corporate balance sheet, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's to some people, I think it is very much statistics, and it is sort of kind of what people bring to the table because it's so hard to make a movie now.
It's so hard to make a movie, man.
and to make an original movie. I mean, it's like we're almost back to like the 20s or the 30s, where like studios kind of feel safer kind of hiring you if something works like a franchise, and then you why keep doing it until it gets broken? Like just keep going.
We're going to get into the Winter Dragon a little bit later. I'm fascinated
yeah.
by the dynamics of all of that going on, but I want to save that. Go ahead.
I read that Margot didn't know it was a true story. Is that
That's
true?
Yeah, she
So
didn't.
she did not know, and
No.
she just wanted to be a part of it, and then found out it was a true story.
She read the script and was
Yeah.
like, "This is so crazy and insane," and then
It's so
Put two and two
crazy it
together.
can't be real.
Yeah.
correct basically.
Right. Okay, so, and I lived through that time, and I got some little weird nugget to this. I was working for Herb Ritz, who was a photographer, a big
Okay,
photographer,
yeah.
and I assisted his stylist. This woman named Kate Harrington, who was a crazy fucking maniac, but a lovely human being and generous and was a good person to me. Hi, Kate. I think she's living in Montana right now. She's jumped out. Okay.
Definitely listening.
She's definitely listening. Herb was set to shoot Nancy right after the Olympics. And it was right in that time where this was all happening in real time. So she was panicked. She was freaked out about anybody hurting her because she had just gone through this traumatic experience before the Olympics. So I think she was very unhappy about not winning gold. And so we had to shoot her for some commercial, and it was in New York. We fly to New York, and I've been around a lot of situations with a lot of security. I had never, this building and this woman there was not a person who was more secure than, there
Yeah.
were fucking guards everywhere. There were guns everywhere. This woman was like this. She was like, you could tell she was still sizably traumatized by that entire experience. And I was like, holy shit, this little girl is in the middle of a fucking storm that she has no idea. And by the way, and no disrespect, but I met her a little bit, and she's not a very likable human
Nancy.
being, Nancy Kerrigan. She
Okay.
was a little bit, well, you know what? How about this? She had just gone through a major experience. And who knows what she was going up to? I saw the medal.
Everybody's life from that thing was to some extent ruined. I
No.
mean, I don't think anybody walked away with something good.
How did you get the role?
I I had a meeting with the director, a Skype meeting, and then I said I'm down to fly to LA and audition whatever it takes for it. And then he said, well, all right, well, look, let me get back to you on this. And then 3 weeks went by, and they were talking to somebody much more famous than me.
Okay.
And
that's how this shit works. So somebody passes, and then he gets it, and now he's.
And then it fell apart. Whatever that was going on, that conversation was sort of kind of. It didn't work out for whatever reason, but it worked out for me, obviously, that way. And then I got a call, and I happened to be in LA, and then I went in and I auditioned, and then that went well, and then they had me come back with Margot.
This is what's great, though. He reads, he does well, the director's in, but then Margot's got to sign off on you, right? It's her vehicle.
She's got to sign off. Yeah, I mean, she was a producer on it, too.
Right, so she could be like, I hate that guy.
Pretty much,
and you'd be done.
That's it.
But by the way,
I guess I think even though the
zombie's
girl
smiling,
in the world, so I can't even see her do that.
Well, no, but it's great that women, she's in power in that. That's her. She's the one in power in that situation.
Of course. Well, that's the thing with her. Like that's why I found so inspiring about her is that it's literally her husband, and I think two of their other friends that started this company, Lucky Chap, and that's That's what she wants. She wants to find roles that are empowering women. And
were you excited for the role? Was when you read for it? Was there something like you? Because I know you guys read in your audition and then you learn to let it go and see what and just whatever happens is whatever happens. But were you hanging on to like, God, I really want to do that?
No, it was very excruciating because it'd gone well, and then I still wasn't hearing back from them about it, and it'd gone well with Margot, and I wasn't hearing back from them, and I was losing my mind, and I actually called my agent. It was right around Thanksgiving, and I said, look, I think we need to call them and just say, please take till Monday or Tuesday, and then just tell us yes or no, so that we can just move on with our lives. But that's the thing, you're not in control as an actor, but that's the only thing you can do. You can kind of just say, and not like you can take it up to here at this point. I need to move on with my life.
And this is the other thing I want to point out, right? Because he's going to work for the rest of his life, barring any dramatic fucking personal tragedies.
Right,
Maybe he gets a drug addiction and whatever. But in the meantime, if he just does him, he will work for the rest of his life. He's a kind, gentle guy. You can tell he shows up. But the thing is this. He's got the same feelings as a guy who doesn't have a career, who's read for it, gone back twice, waiting to hear, do I have it, do I not have it? Like, that feeling never leaves, right?
No, that's one of the conversations, I always end up having. It's like the problems don't go away. It's just they just change. The other thing, everyone always says about, you think you conquer this mountain and then there's another one right there as soon as you do. Like, it doesn't ever
Do you
stop.
feel fulfilled currently with your career and where you at? Have you been able to take a minute and be like,
I do. I'm terribly
got
impatient. I'll say that. I mean, I'm terribly impatient. I think like I have wrong expectations. I have a lot of hard expectations for myself, especially at 35 in my head. But
all right, what does that mean? Explain that. Expectations for your 35, Mr. Okay.
When my parents, my dad was 27 when he had me, right? And then my mom was, I believe, had me, she was younger, so I think she was like 24. And at 32, like she was, working as a single mom in a foreign country that she didn't speak the language of, like bringing home the dough and taking care of a 10-year-old kid. Like, that's what she was doing at 32. I mean, and so, like, I guess in my head at 35, like, I think a lot about where I'd want to be. I sort of feel like I should be further along.
How should I feel? That
These
sounds
fucking
very-
That's what
actors,
I'm saying, dude. But
these actors are the worst. These
Oh,
actors
you're
are
making
the
me feel-
fucking worst. My girl's the same way. My girl is like always, we'll be okay. It'll be okay when I get there. And then we get there, and then it's this immediate desire to torture yourself by setting this new goal. Are you fulfilled?
Of course, sitting here today, I feel great. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
dude,
like,
you've
I
come
am
an
fulfilled.
amazing. It's impossible to get where you are.
But there's
Are you
fear of
aware of that?
fulfillment. There's fear of fulfillment, I mean,
But in your professional career, it is
Right.
impossible to get where you are. It's like you can be as good as you want. You can be as talented as you need to be. There is a certain amount of fortune involved in getting where you are. And you deserve to be where you are. You're not floating like you're a fucking really good looking guy, but you've also got the shit to back it up. It's like, just be okay. Like, it's good to be you.
Yeah, no, it's,
no, is it not?
It is. Yeah, it is. But it's hard to say that sometimes, I guess. It is. No, for sure. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's the big thing that, it's like you can't go through life just basically running yourself like into the, that's how people run themselves into the ground, is like they never really take a moment to kind of appreciate things. And so it's one of the things I've done, is at least like in that room on Sunday, it's just to sit there and go, this is as good as it gets. Like, what? That's it. Like, what more can be filled from this moment? But I think we're in that culture, though. I think that's the American way. It's like you gotta always be fucking better, stronger, faster. I mean, that's the underneath sort of stream of, I think, like sometimes what we deal with, or at least how I came up, because I'm. I still, even though I'm from another country, I still grew up here. So
right, and that's the other, I want to get into that little part. You were born in Hungary, and
in Romania.
Fucking same country to me. Same shit.
The other
European here is
Serbia, Hungary, Croatia. It's all the same little area.
They were under the Russian.
So do you have an immigrant mentality with your work? Which is a good thing. Like the blue collar, is there a blue collar sensibility?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, like sacrifice is a huge thing in my life growing up. Like that was with my parents and the fact of like, we came here, my mom like worked hard. We got here, we got to New York. And so it's like, the pressure was a little on, but I'm not saying it was bad. It was just, it's a very, what are you going to do with it? Now you're here, and what are you going to do with it?
Right.
And that's the kind of the feeling.
Do you got brothers and sisters?
I have one half brother on my dad's side, but we didn't grow up together.
Okay.
So I grew up
and you get along with your mom and dad?
Yes.
Which one do you like more?
They're so different. I mean, it's like,
I know, but you like one of them more.
Do I like one of them more? That's like Sophie's choice or something.
I like my mom more than I like my dad.
Your mom, yeah, of course. There you go.
All right, we're gonna play a song. We got lots to talk about.
Okay.
This is what. Well, no, actually, we're not gonna play a song. I want to get the rest of the I, Tonya thing out.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of. First of all, I saw the movie, and this is the thing that I wanted to tell you. And I don't know much about this movie shit. I don't. But I watched the movie, and I had a throwback memory. And don't let this fucking go to your head. Because don't let it. But I had a moment where the relationship between you and Margot on the screen, and your desire to be selfless and let her be the vehicle is very important, especially in that movie. That movie is hers. The movie is about Tonya, and you supported the role as a male in a really beautiful way. You weren't trying to steal the movie. You weren't trying to overstep her. There was a selflessness to your acting, that was the thing that I took away from it, watching it. And it reminded me of Leo DiCaprio in Revolutionary Road, where it was Kate's movie, Kate Winslet. It was her movie. It was her vehicle. And you've got maybe one of the greatest living actors in the world and he chose, I think he made an active choice to make sure that he was supporting her instead of trying to take the movie over. And I don't know if you realize that I don't know if you subconsciously did that in your performance, but that was the memorable part for me. And I think that is an extremely honorable, it's an extremely honorable quality in you as a man to allow her the moment in that film, because there's a lot of fucking scumbag actors that would have signed on to that and then lived their life trying to steal it. And that is not what you did in that film. And I just want to congratulate you on that. And that's why I think you have a shot to be special.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that, man. I've certainly, no one is, I mean, I never, that's a very
Do you
gracious
understand
thing.
what I'm saying, though?
I do. I'm grateful for hearing it. I do. I think that was a hard, I don't know if anybody would want to try and steal scenes with that role.
No, but there are very selfish actors out there that are like, I'm going to use this. She's the person, but I'm going to do everything I can to overstep and lean into the wherever and the light and the stepping on stuff. Like they're making her movie about them, and you made that movie. Your performance made that movie about her, which is why that movie worked. Vanger?
I agree. I went into that movie hating your character, but your performance, I was torn. And then that's the way the story goes. But I felt for Jeff Gillooly and how things
he humanized him in the performance, which is very, very hard to do.
Definitely.
I grew up with guys like you. I grew up in Omaha. I mean, guys like, that's a good thing. Like Gillooly, I grew up with dudes in Omaha. There's a billion Gillooly's. And this was the other
where you mean the domestic violence was very much part of the world.
It's not even really violence. It's communication. That's how they think about it in Omaha with some lower, like blue. It's not like the woman knows it's going to happen. She doesn't really think about it as violence. The guy has every right to put his hands on his woman, and it's a way for him to communicate that he's not okay with the current situation. That's how gnarly and insidious domestic violence is. Yeah. And the turning on the dime thing with the violence with you, like, it was spot on, because I've had buddies of mine who were fine and interacting with their girl, and then bang, and then they would just slap them, and you're like, okay, this is not my business. And you walk outside and you're young and you don't know what to say. You're like, that doesn't feel very okay to me, but I don't. And they're older, like, there was turning on a dime with the violence thing. Did you study domestic violence?
I mean, I definitely looked up different things, like in terms of where it starts, like, and it always starts in childhood. I mean, like, whatever you grow up seeing and you think that's like a caretaker handling something, that's where you start picking it up. And I'm, I don't want to speak for him, obviously, because I didn't meet him, but
you did meet him.
I met him, yeah. But I would say that you get to see what she grew up like, but I'm positive his experience was not very different from hers. I mean, it had, I just, the feeling I got is that he probably had a really hard childhood. But I think the weird part about this one situation is because every footage I found, I mean, he clearly went out of his way. At least you see him come across in such like a, I'm like this meek guy, and I never really had a girl in high, and so you don't get it right off the bat the way you see it been romanticized in movies like the Marlon Brando Streetcar, the big
overbearing love.
Yeah, like, right. Here I am, baby, like the alpha guy. Like, so it wasn't like violence. If it would have been violence, even though he denies it, and he
denies ever hitting her.
Yeah, he denies the abuse.
Still.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
He saw the movie, or and did you ask him? Did you say, "Hey, did you hit her?"
Well,
no. I mean, I don't know what you do when you're an actor and you're getting ready to fucking.
Look. I mean, I didn't really ask him that, to be honest. I mean, I think I said, this is what he might have said it before me. Actually, he might have said it. Listen, the one thing that they always got wrong was that she and I had this sort of really hard, abusive kind of relationship, and that was never the case. And so
do you believe him?
I I don't know what to believe, to be honest. Because he was not a easy guy to read per se, and also I had a struggle.
You're really good in this. I'm sorry.
No. I had a
There's
struggle.
a sociopathicness to his performance. It's like this mellow, quiet dude, and he doesn't like what she's doing. Bang! Like that happens.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I don't know whether he even was, if he was doing that. I don't even know if he was really aware. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it might have happened so quickly, or he might have talked himself out of believing like that's not what I don't know. But whatever it was, it would have been spontaneous like that. It wouldn't have been like a premeditated sort of, here, I'm coming home, I'm pissed off, and this is going to happen.
I'm going to beat her up.
It's like, I feel this, and I don't like feeling this, and this is my way of communicating with it because
it's my way of saying, I'm scared,
I don't have
or
other
why aren't you
tools.
giving me what I need? It's this instead. You didn't look at the guy and go, come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. You beat her ass all the time.
Here's the thing. I needed his help. I needed his help in the sense of like I needed him. And like that's what I was getting at. I needed to in a way tell him like, dude, I'm about to go play this part, and regardless of your history or what's been said about you, I feel responsible for you in some way now. And I feel I just gotta try and get somewhere. And the other thing is, I said I didn't write the script. And so I have to portray the version that you say and the version that she says. And in the version that she says, this is what happened. So regardless whether it happened or not, it's going to be portrayed. So,
and they don't talk. They're not friends. They don't hang.
No, but I'm pretty sure they live like 20 minutes away from each other.
Right.
The same town, I think. But
they got different lives and different families and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're forever connected.
Those interviews that are in when you're, because you play two Galulis pretty much. You play the older Galuli.
Are those, and that's why I wanted to meet him, because I couldn't find anything on him like now at 50.
Right. Are those interviews real? Like when you're portraying the older Galuli, is that a real interview that you just...
No. So a lot of that is actually based on the audio interview that the screenwriter Stephen Rogers did.
He did, and so you heard. Did
and
you?
I was listening to
you
that
heard
over
the
and
audio
over again and trying to get the voice, and like I was just, and a lot of that is in there. But and then I just wanted to see him, like talk or whatever.
Yeah, you're spot on.
No,
it's
good. And there's a way that there's things you watch and you're like, oh, the fucking guy's mimicking, right? Which is not interesting. Then there's the thing, I don't know what these people do, but they figure out a way to get in there with a character, and it doesn't seem like a mimic. It seems like a portrayal, which is completely different. Because if you miss, it's a joke. I mean, if you miss, I'm Netflix. I'm out. I can't, because the mimic thing is just it's brutal.
But I think what you said is interesting, because like I don't think people talk a lot about that. To be honest, it's like, instead of like. I figure that like instead of like having this war with yourself, that every time you get a job, you should like be the one to stand out. You have to, you got to like know what lane you're in.
Well, that's a subconscious thing that you know. Like, isn't acting about giving? Isn't it about making the other person the best they can be, and then therefore you will end up looking good too? Or that's not how it's approached?
I think that, but I've definitely
There's a lot of
suffered
people
from that too. Don't worry, I've definitely been across some other people where like the camera was on them. This person you actually know,
okay,
he's an unbelievable person, and
there's tricks though,
and camera's on him, and I'm giving him like my all, and I know that when it turns around, he'll probably, he'll return the favor, but
gone,
instead,
not even there.
He's like trying to crack me up and fuck my
which
take.
ruined the thing, which then makes that guy's performance look better because because these people are vicious to each other.
Yeah.
They're fucking vicious.
No,
I had a buddy, Danny Nucci, who was in that movie, the Sub movie. Something you would have been in like 25 years ago had you been that age, or Ethan, you would have been in it. You could have. It was the Denzel Hackman Crimson Tide.
Yeah,
and
very
Danny was a
relevant.
big thing for him because he ended up getting his role bigger, and he had some like scenes with Hackman and Denzel and him, which is he's coming home going, Jesus Christ, Denzel, I don't know what the fuck. And then he was in a panic, and he's 24 or 25, and so he would go and they shoot the scene with all three of them. I think that shit's called The Master.
Yeah, right, where everybody's in, right.
Where everyone's in it, And then they do, I would imagine at that point it was Hackman's close-up because he's the biggest guy on the thing. And so the camera's just on Gene Hackman, and Denzel and Danny are where his eye line is, and they're giving him the lines. And then they shoot Denzel, and Hackman and Danny show up to do the thing, and then it's Danny's turn. These dudes don't show.
No, they're not.
They got a PA. They got me reading I'm doing like this. Go to the second deck, and this guy's got to try and figure out how to get there with it, right?
Yeah, well, because also like sometimes with some of those big heavyweights, you get them only for a certain amount of time, and then if you didn't get them, by 6 o'clock they're gone. So it doesn't matter whether they got to you or not.
Who do you want to work with?
Oh, I mean, I want to get to the.
I know you want to work with everybody,
No,
but if there's a guy that you could go, is it Denzel? Is it Leo? Is it Sean Penn? Is it a girl?
I love all those guys. All those guys are obviously people I've looked up to for years and years. But I would say like I would work with this director who did Blade Runner and
he's in this. He's
and
fine.
Arrival.
He's fine. He's got the secret.
The director.
This fucking guy's got the secret now. People don't talk about the secret, but he's got the secret. He ain't worried about actors and actresses. He knows that the movie all comes down to the director. That's it.
Well, if Leo's in this movie, then he picked a good director. So you're already good.
The
right?
director,
and same
right.
for the other two. I mean,
well, the bigger you when you start to get some control and some freedom and choices, it's all about the director. Because if the director's good, you're not going to ever be in a bad movie. If the script's good and the director sucks, you could be into a shit show.
Yeah, I think an actor could do a great performance, but if the movie isn't good, you don't really care for it.
What makes a good director for you?
I mean, I think it's somebody that knows how to leave you alone and then say the right thing when they need to, but not get in your way. It's like it's like dealing with dealing with children. Actors are children. They're emotional wrecks.
Did you and Margot on the set, did you guys create this loving, weird, fucking dynamic? Like this come here, go, does your relationship start to mimic what you guys are portraying?
Well, no. I mean, it didn't, I loved working with her. I just thought, because she's down for anything. A lot of times in this movie, obviously, I would say to her, be like, look, we're about to get, even though we rehearsed everything, we're about to get,
physical.
What? How do we know when enough or what? And she would, oftentimes look at me and go, I just want you to know, if you don't hit me at this point, I'm gonna fucking break a chair over your face. So, and I was like, all right, well,
okay,
that's
so
good.
She goes, this beautiful little pixie goes method on you. She's like.
But she went into it. I mean, there was one scene that obviously didn't make it into the movie. There was a car where I slammed her hand into the car door.
Yeah, I remember that. Don't do that again.
And that thing,
Jesus Christ, ouchie.
That went for a while actually before he yelled cut, and she beats the shit out of me throughout that entire rest of the thing. It didn't make it into the movie. But my point is, she made that happen. She made it okay to. So she makes
trust. The boundary, or she says there is no boundary. Well, that's what I want, and then you guys
and
do that.
And in this situation, it was very much like you should lead this, and you should tell me where we need to go in terms of kind of when's enough's enough, or how far do we take it?
Was there a safe word or something that she has?
No, I mean we would laugh. No, she would start laughing, and that would be pretty okay.
And did you actually hit her?
No.
You don't actually hit her.
Never.
But you pretend to hit her.
No, but I hit the big guy a few times.
the goofball.
Bodyguard, yeah. He and I went punch for punch.
By the way, he's great in it too.
He's fantastic.
He's really good. It seems like you guys are pretty friendly. You guys are.
He was great. I mean, he was. We had enough time before we started where it became. I think we had a nice rapport that kind of made it to the screen.
And just in the real life, because I was 22 and this was going on. I had and this guy shows up out of nowhere. Sean, what's his name?
Sean Eckhart.
Sean, is that
Eckhart,
okay?
Yeah.
Right. So then you're watching the story unfold, and it's not in. There's no internet. There's no social media, so it's not instantaneous, but every couple days there's like this new break in this fucking crazy story, and you're like, wait, what? And then out of nowhere, they just catch a fucking shot of this Eckhart guy, and you're like, this is like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Like, he is right out of Central Casting for like Glurb that doesn't know left from right, but and it just fucking looked like Grimace. You're like, where the fuck is this guy? It was the whole story is insane. It's crazy.
Well, it was crazy but look, money is such a huge thing. It's the money thing is a big thing actually, and class in the movie, and that's the thing you're talking maybe from these where you said Omaha and like those parts like. These guys they just thought like money would save everything. I mean, I think they paid those two guys that did it $1,000, and they just thought, like Galuli said, I mean, Jeff said this basically was like, I gave him money. I thought they would go away. I thought everything was going to be solved because money saves everything. And obviously, so there was not a whole lot of.
And the big mystery of this, and then we're going to play a song. The big mystery still to this day is, did Tanya know, right?
Well,
you dance around it in the movie, but you don't nail down like, I knew what was going on, but she did.
Well, I think what he says is that she knew about the death threats, and she knew like that they were going to send these letters,
right?
But that they both didn't know that Sean would take it to where he took it.
Do you believe him?
I mean, I think that's the closest. I did believe him. I thought, that it's a plausible
hold on. God
scenario.
comes down and he says, here's the deal, Seb. Did he do it or did he not do it? Did they know or did they not know?
For purposes of me playing him, I had to believe him, at that point. That I took as truth. I mean,
purposes of playing him.
Right.
But you're not playing him no more. You're sitting in my house right now. You're talking on the show.
But it's
did he do it or not? Did he know or not? Did he know that she was going to get the knee bar?
I don't think he knew.
You don't think he knew?
No.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you believe him when he says that?
I don't think. Well, no. I watched the movie and I didn't know all those things, but I don't. But I believe him.
I think where he goes wrong, where everybody goes wrong, is instead of like right away, like going and telling the authorities what happened, they decided to cover it all up. Try to get away with it, like make it like as if nothing had happened, and that was the problem. You
guys really, really nailed it. It felt like Omaha. It felt like I had people that did small crimes that it would rob they'd rob a gas station, and then 3 days later they'd be telling all their friends on a couch, and it was the fucking lame brain, and that's how most crimes get. 90% of all crimes. Anybody that plans and is smart about committing a crime, I think 90% of those go unsolved. It's the other gajillion crimes where Sean Eckhart is telling his buddies about beating up, or it's felt so Omaha to me, man. You guys, the movie was great.
I think it should win Best Picture. That's just I'm not part of the Academy, of course, but
you do.
Well, yeah.
You think it's the Best Picture winner?
I think it should be up there for sure.
It definitely should be nominated.
And you should be nominated too. Janny and Margot's nominated. I think you definitely.
Who's in your category? Like are you your best supporting actor, right?
That's the category I would have.
You would be in.
But there's, some fucking unbelievable actors this year in that category. Sam Rockwell, how many performances did that guy put in before this is his first Oscar nomination? It's kind of crazy. And then
you've gotten done what you needed to get done with this movie. You don't need to be it would be amazing to be nominated for an Oscar, but this is not the last of you. This is really the big start. I know there's been a ton of big starts, but this is it now. You're working and you're getting shit. It's on for you. You know that, right? You're about to get fucking loco.
I hope so.
You're about to make some real movies now. Back to back to back to back.
You haven't done any real movies until now.
Well, no. But he's about to get. It's about to get real for him.
It's
like a serious, like if he plays his cards right, He's in the award movie every year if he wants. And then how does that work? Your agents and you go, oh, is this an award movie or?
It's just, I mean, it's just about having, like everybody communicate the same language. It's just like, you go like, well, who's the director? Who else is in it? And what's the script? And then but if it's a good movie, if it's a good script, like Leo was going to be in it. Why not go to that guy, right?
All right. We're having a nice talk with Sebastian Stan. Thank you for getting in here and not making the almond milk, you idiot.
Dang, it's such a pleasure.
Zombie, do you accept his face?
I do, Shane. It's not too shabby at all.
Okay,
the only
great.
question you're getting the whole day is, do you accept
Awesome.
his face?
That's what I'm here for.
Thanks for coming.
just
Really.
evaluating
You're doing
faces,
great
that's all I
research.
do.
Doing
Thank
great
you.
research.
All right, we'll be right back. This is the world's only 24-hour talk radio app. It's the Morning Drive. Shake it. Little Earth, Wind, and Fire to get the old Tuesday afternoon juices flowing. We're in the studio.
I didn't
right,
know that
shut
people
up.
listen to this show to do their cardio. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, no, this is a big cardio show.
didn't
You
know
didn't realize that?
I
This
didn't
is,
know.
This is all cardio.
I was unaware.
No,
I
all
didn't-
these hipster assholes getting their treadmills in New York on the 9th or whatever, and they cardio away to you, man.
Wow, I had no
That's
idea.
They love you. He loves you.
Wow, thanks.
He was listening. Ethan got him into the show, and then he started listening, and then he hit me and was very sweet and was like, "Dude, I love your show."
Yes.
This was a couple years ago when we were really bad, and so that was that was where the relationship started. It was great. I was like, "This guy thinks we're good."
Wow.
I
That
remember
means
going.
we have some hope.
I remember thinking that, but that helped me in my head because we don't know what we still don't know what we're doing.
Did a fan come
No,
up to you? Right? What didn't
I actually feel like, listen, to be honest, like yes, fans did come up to me, but to be honest, I was going to say is like, I sometimes listen because I literally want to get my news from you.
No, that's
That's
bad.
not good.
That's
That's
not
bad or
good.
not.
It's not good.
But once in a while, I pay attention to that when I gotta go to before I gotta go to work.
Do you
I go,
fuck
okay,
with
that's-
politics?
Oh God! Listen, for my own sanity, no. Honestly, no. I mean, I inevitably, like everybody else, like watch what's going on, the train wrecks that are happening, like on the news, but like with weariness. But I don't feel like I'm able to make serious statements.
Because
that
you're not educated enough about the situation,
Because
or you
I
just
feel like I'm not putting in the time that it would require for me to really research. Meaning, I should look at different outlets and really go and even read the European papers. I should
before you formulate an opinion.
Yeah, I was supposed to just come out there and be like, "This is what I heard," to some extent.
Do your agents and managers and all these people, man, they get so many fucking ticks just making money off this guy now. It's ridiculous. I don't like agents and managers.
I
I'm
know.
sure he's got great ones. Do they tell you not to talk about politics? Do they say steer clear of all that because there's Republicans that go see movies and Democrats?
No, I haven't had anybody tell me that. No, lately.
But walk me through November 8th, 2016 on Election Day.
Oh, well, funny enough.
I ask everybody that comes on the show this question. I want them to walk me through that day. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing,
Here's
walk me
the weird part. I was in my hotel room in Santa Monica, and I was going over my audition for I, Tonya, which was the next day.
Interesting.
And all I remember was that
So the Trump presidency's been pretty good for you.
for that
Next day he did the ITOM.
But I was like, I gotta go to sleep. I can't watch this thing. Like, I gotta get enough sleep for tomorrow and blah blah blah. And I couldn't turn off the television because it was just like the
bad news kept coming.
unspeakable was happening. I was getting text messages and people freaking out that he was actually going to win. And then, I had shaved the facial hair I had into a mustache for the audition, and I was like worried that someone was going to give a fuck about like me walking around looking like an idiot the next day, and no one cared because it was the end of the world.
Right.
And that's how at least everybody behaved at that hotel.
So you quasi follow politics and what's happening with the planet. Do you have
Yes.
anything that you have a cause? Do you have something that sings to you that you really care about?
The ones that I'm getting much more. There's 3 things that I'm getting more affiliated with, and they all each have like little personal vendettas. One is autism, because that's something that's very personal to my manager, and then I've been with her for 22 years. So.
And I'm teasing about. I mean, there are great managers and great agents. I don't like them, just in general.
You're softy.
And then
relax.
There's another foundation called Our Big Day Out that's in Romania about orphans. Romania had a lot of orphan issues.
Why is that?
Kids. Because everything kind of fell apart in '89 when the revolution happened. Like the whole country just fell apart. No one knew how to function because they had been functioning under this dictatorship. And then, they thought they were going to basically I think, if humbly I may say, pride got the best of them and they fucking shot the guy before they should have gotten some more information out of him. I don't know. But the country was in shambles. And I mean, there were people who had no jobs and nothing to put food on the table and would send their kids to, find a life for themselves. And so you had all of these kids that ended up in Bucharest, like in the tunnel systems, that were addicted to like the spray paint and all that stuff.
Okay. Wow.
So anyway, I have a really good friend in Romania, and she's, handling this thing called Our Big Day Out. So that's something I want to get more involved in. And then my stepdad passed away a few years ago from Alzheimer's. And so that was another thing that I thought I should, but I'm clearly, I haven't done enough to get the ball rolling.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I think the thing, there's a lot of people that don't have any of that going on in their head. They're not thinking forward enough to even, and as you get more successful, that will be part of your story, giving back, because that's, I would imagine, I've watched you, I've have a relationship with you, and I've watched you in your performances. You'll figure that out. Right. It's good to, I think I think it's good for everybody to have their moment and figure out what makes their heart sing, and then you've got to figure out a way to be effective in that, and you'll do that.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's, like one thing I'm lucky with on Instagram, for example, I have these people that write to me these personal questions. They go, my parents got divorced, and they're kids, and they're like, my parents got divorced. I don't know what to do. I feel depressed, or I'm like, help me with this or that. And I was having this conversation with somebody today who was a big producer in this business, and he was saying how, you can't be afraid. Like, and he was like, I have these 4 daughters, and like, all I'm worried about is that they're going to look at me and all they're going to see is my successes and not my failures. And I need to communicate to them how important failures are, because that's what really fucking makes a difference. And so when I look at, I guess I bring that up because when I look at Instagram and stuff, I think about these kids that kind of get the wrong idea of like, life from that app per se, but I feel like it's important to go like, yeah, I fucking get depressed. I get depressed all the time, like, I mean, we all do, we all have our moments. So,
well, I think we're in the middle of, we're really the first couple generations of human beings that have this marvelous tool called the internet. And with the digital age and social media, we're all like neophytes with it, and we're just like, we're using it terribly wrong currently.
Yeah.
I think in the next 30 to 40 to 50 years, we're going to figure out how to use this in the best way. But for now, everyone's following Nicki Minaj's ass.com because we just don't know. You know what I mean? And there's also this idea that, people will click on your thing and they see your phenomenal life and they don't realize.
Right.
And most people are trying to fool the world by putting up their best version of their life. And that's not on any, so none of you, most of what you see on Instagram or Twitters or any of this shit isn't real. It's people's idea of their best version of their own life. And it's not really indicative of who we are as human beings, because we've all got the same shit going on. We all got the same fears, the same anger, the same jealousies. And you don't see that at all with the social media at all.
That's going to post more failures. I want to see more failures.
What are you bad at? What are you not good at?
Oh God, come on.
What is the thing that you need to work on the most?
I can't, this is like the only job I can do. I can't do, I don't know. I mean, the acting is the only thing I can do, right? So I'm not saving anybody's life, or maybe. But you can, maybe. You for sure you can. You can definitely you can definitely be of service as an actor. It's just up to you to make that decision to do that. But I'm talking. I'm my own worst.
Are you irresponsible? Are you financially irresponsible?
No.
Are you
I'm a very good overthinker. Like,
Are you neurotic? You
I'm-
think too much?
I'm definitely neurotic for sure.
You
I
are.
overthink
You are.
everything, and I'm a great example of getting in your own way. So I think like that's like the one thing.
Give me an example of getting in your own way.
I can
Is there
I can easily talk myself into thinking that it's the end of the. What's the fucking point? It's the end of the world. I mean, I can do that probably in 15 seconds.
So you can quickly get into that morbid reflection.
For sure. I can definitely get into that, but also like, like I could sit there and look at the other night and go, oh, it's nice to be surrounded by these people, but this, but that, but this, but that, and then catch myself in all that.
Why do you think you do that?
Because I had probably a very unstable upbringing, and that's
Makes
the
sense.
one thing what makes you successful at the same time is also your own thing. It's gets in your way.
It's so fun, the journey of humandom, is it not? I mean, we're all perfectly imperfect.
Right.
We've all got our own shit, whatever it is. I hate myself to the point of I have to have anchors, beautiful things in my life so that I don't flip off the deep end and end up in a hole drinking underneath the Kodak Theater where you're going to end up being in 4 weeks celebrating. You know what I mean? You're like, so I have my girlfriend, I have my son, because we're all this beautiful work in progress.
Right. Well, you need your anchors, right?
Definitely. Now, hold on. I want to get into this thing because you have had to, as a man in Hollywood, you have had to deal with the revolution or the Time's Up movement, the terrible sexual assault stuff with Harvey Weinstein. I have told friends of mine that are in the movie business, just go away, go in a hole, don't make any comments, don't talk about anything, because we're in such a tumultuous time that, because this Matt Damon guy seems like a sweet guy, and he's making him, but he made a comment, and it's like that blows up in his face, and I know that I know that guy's got a lovely wife and 2 kids. He seems like a good dude, but how have you navigated it? Because have you been asked about it?
Well, but like I'm not mad. Like I'm not, no one. I don't think I've been in situations where people are like really, really seeking to know my.
But if you made some kind of a wild comment, you are big enough now where that would hit and be a thing. If you made some asinine comment about those current...
Yeah, I'm sure like anybody else I would be, of course. I mean,
have you been asked questions about it?
Well, we've been, promoting the movie at the
which
time.
a lot of it has
happening.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, actually, the movie deals with some aspect of abuse, obviously, and it is about a woman and kind of her taking charge or struggling to take charge, and figure skating and all these fucking older judges, and a lot of them being men, and so it's actually a very timely movie that way. But yeah, we've dealt with it a little bit. I mean, it's inevitable not to deal with it. I mean, the first thing that ever comes to my mind immediately is that it's a sad, like it's a very off kilter like feeling. It's just awful because you feel, I think as a man, I feel like you feel helpless and also like in a way, but also still somehow responsible, or you feel like you should be doing something. You feel like that's like the feeling that when you read these things or when you see these things, it's like, fuck, like, okay, like what can I do? What do I do now? Like how can I help the situation? Because it's but in a way, I mean, I think the world would be a safer place if women ran the world.
Sure.
I mean, literally, like I think it's almost like slightly proven fact. There's this great book out there, it talks about, it's called Sapiens, and it literally asks the question, like if like world leaders were actually all women, would we even have a fucking war? You know what I mean? Would we even have to go to that, extent? Would people die as much? Would it be? So I don't know. I think, but I think what's happening is that there's a real confusion, a little bit about what everyone's sort of like. Okay, like what's my what kind of man am I now? Like what there's a confusion in the way females and males, I think, are interacting because it has been changing, and we are in a world now that is where women don't need men, in my opinion. Can do. And they don't have to. Like they can supply they can make money, more money. They can have jobs. They can lead companies. They can do whatever they want. They can have kids without men. You know what I mean? So what's what's our fucking purpose at this point?
Right, as men. Well, for 4,000 years we've had it our way.
Exactly.
And the institutional misogyny exists. We don't even know that we're being. We've had so many different conversations about my own behavior over the last 20 years. This all starts to happen, and then I start to wonder, like, okay, how was I out of line or inappropriate, or how did I take liberty with situations or women that worked for me, or I had this door girl that worked for me forever, and there was like every night we were flirting with her. And it was like, wait a minute, this woman just maybe wants to go to work and not be flirted with, right? She just wants to go and do her job. But every night she's in this like, not coercive, but like, dealing with comments and that's not me being a bad guy. That's just me that's me not really understanding that like it's the institutional misogyny of where we are. And I think that's the best thing that's happening here, is that we are really having to redraw lines of our own male behavior, even though we're not bad guy. I'm not a bad guy with that, but there have been ways that I have been like, holy shit, how did I be looking at my door girl going, Jesus, you look great tonight. How about tonight? Is tonight the night we're going to go home and fuck? Like, she doesn't need to hear that at 1:40, but I didn't know that I was doing anything wrong, really. Right, Zombie?
Right. You thought you were joking and
having fun, and because we're living in an institutionally misogynist world, but I couldn't imagine the idea if it was the other way around for 4,000 years. I could not imagine like putting my clothes on at 8:30 going, fuck, I'm about to get hit on by the zombie again tonight. Like, I don't
better not wear that because I know that's going to get a comment.
So,
but in consumerism and in the message out there repeatedly, often in movies and commercials and what sells, we've been prone to think that that's a good thing. You should, if you're a woman, you should get a compliment. You're lucky or something. Like there's a message out there.
It's all institutional, and we are in the middle of a massive revolution of thoughts, ideas, plans, actions.
And it's going to take some time, I think, for men to like
know their place,
how to communicate properly. Because
did you, when all of this started to happen, did you review your conduct, your life, your behavior, and think, was I ever out of line, or was I ever? But I think every dude,
1,000%. Yeah,
I think every dude did that, has done that. If you're a responsible man in today's world, aren't you going, shit, or no, I'm okay, or like, did you do that, Vanger?
No, I don't think I said. But I never worked at a nightclub where I'm saying that. I didn't say that to. That's not the type of person I am. But I don't feel like I need to go back through my behavior towards women because I was borderline harassing them. I feel like I don't have any situations like that.
Okay, well then maybe I don't. Yeah,
but I understand that men need to do that. But I just felt like
you never like walked back through your life and saw different relationships or dating, or was like, well, I didn't need to be that way.
I guess you could say I had a relationship with an intern where I was in power.
Okay, well that's not good. Right out of the gate.
But
what did you say to her? Were you coercive?
Well,
without knowing you were?
No, I feel like I feel like I made it clear to her before she got the job that I liked her.
Okay.
So I was like, I want to hire you as an intern, but I also want to ask you out. So I made that clear.
But Zombie, isn't that in itself
really
a bad thing?
Probably. There you go.
Here's the deal. I like you, and now I want to subjugate you so that you have to you have to feel beholden to me. But we don't know. We didn't know we were doing anything wrong. You didn't know you were doing anything wrong.
We would,
that's the institutional setup of what's now been blown up, which is great.
Yeah.
Especially with movies and sets, the line is so gray, isn't it?
I mean,
how do you travail that as an actor?
I think the only thing to do is you have to communicate. I think, which is something we're getting worse and worse at doing, but maybe not anymore now that we have to communicate. Now we're up against the wall where we have to communicate to people, and you have to go. I think I think if you like someone, you should say it as opposed to fucking try to be like 14, you know, and go like, I just want to tell you I like you. But I don't know. I mean, but I think on sets, you know, there needs to be a communication. I mean, obviously between people that work together and then have to pretend that they're in a relationship or whatever, or, you know, that where it's going like, hey, are we cool? Or, you know, like, how do we approach this? How are you feeling about it? Whereas before, I think, you know, I know there are actors out there who would come off from a place of,
I'm
I don't
the
know.
guy.
We'll see what happens.
Right,
in
right.
the scene, you know?
Zombie, he's not allowed to date anybody, right, on a set?
I don't think that's the rule. I think.
Well, no, I'm
What do you
asking.
mean?
Well,
Why?
she's the women's studies major. She knows this shit better than us. There's the whole power thing, right? The position of power.
Well, probably everybody that's on his same level. Like if you were acting and then somebody else was acting.
So
then
he
that's
but he
not-
can't
that's
go.
not-
Like, let's say he sees some hot grip or some hot like set designer, and they laugh and they joke, and he's not not legally, but he's not. It's not appropriate to date below your structure, correct?
Well, okay, so I don't know if it's like legally not
Yeah, but
allowed
the-
as far as like movies go, but I do know that like when we talk about like power, when we were talking about it in school, that definitely when the person has more power, that there is the possibility that the person who doesn't have the power isn't going to feel strong enough to say no if they feel like they don't want to be in that situation. So, it's
So
not,
him even asking her out, knowing that he's the guy that's the movie's
I
about.
would say I would recommend definitely be careful about it and be aware that that's something that you could be doing.
But what
because
if
it's
two
not
people are
officially
just
not allowed.
attracted to each other and make each other smile and
Yeah,
laugh?
that happens all the time, and it's fine. Like bosses, even when it's not allowed, date their people, and then they end up married and they're happy. But that's not what the problem is. The problem is when the person doesn't have the strength to say no because there's power and it's hard.
Right. Vanks, you got anything on that?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to say it. I feel like we've said enough.
You can't date your...
but also I feel like, look, I mean, you can read the other person, right? I mean,
Sure.
if you're staring at her and she's not looking back, maybe don't go up to her.
Of
You know?
course.
I mean, like, unless you are somebody who thinks that, like, you know, you can
do whatever you want because
which
I'm
obviously,
the guy.
and look
and
how that played out.
And,
So
and that happens. It's still happening today. I'm sure somebody right now is being subjugated in a position of power. However, we're all very awake to the point where I think good men are making decisions or figuring out a way to navigate this new world we live in, and the bad guys are going to continue to get fucking routed
I
out.
feel like I'm here overhearing conversations between men being like, I'm scared. I don't know how to act around a woman. And I've never felt that way, that I don't know how to act around a woman. That I heard a conversation one time where like, I'm scared to give a woman a kiss on the cheek to say hi. And it's like, well, I've never even thought to do that. And
Well,
if
I've definitely this past weekend hugged some people and given them a kiss on the cheek, and they did not kiss me back on the cheek, and I felt very worried about it. And I was like,
there you
but
go.
I didn't know. And then I even went for the double, like,
Right.
you know, on the other side, and that didn't work out either. So I know what you mean.
This is good for us as men to be in this scenario. It's great
Yes,
for us to be
yes.
where I walked through goal the other night with my hands up.
All right.
It's
Okay.
completely packed.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get nobody's saying. Literally was walking through the crowd like this because I don't want no hands on no because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows. There was a situation the other day where a buddy of ours was talking about a girl's butt, and he in a positive tone. He was like, God, she's got a fat butt, right?
Okay.
But in the good way. Like, well, no, guys, I like fat butts. You see my girl's butt? It's nice and fat and firm and great. And he was like, look at that fat butt. And this girl heard it and turned around and freaked out
Well,
and then went on a blog and said, this guy was fat shaming me. This guy body the thing, and I'm going to talk about it all on my podcast or whatever it is. And this guy's like, I meant it as a compliment. But because the woman has body issues and because she's the one that's got the issue, now this guy's got a fucking problem.
well, because it's her body.
Well, yeah, and keep those thoughts to yourself.
I have to keep those thoughts to myself.
Yeah, probably. I
in
thought
this
you were talking
climate.
about a photo of someone that you knew. I don't know.
No, I can't. If I'm
Why do you
sitting
need to
next
say that unless you go up to...
Vanger, come on, man. We're living in the real world. If I'm
Okay.
sitting next to you at a bar and Zombie walks in and I'm like, man, her rig is tight.
But you don't know her?
I don't know you,
Then
but
that's just catcalling if she heard you. That's already.
I'm not.
everybody
No.
knows that's
She
not fun.
overheard it on accident. Like I'm talking. Wait, but are
Just
we gonna?
because she heard it and it means it's inappropriate? If she didn't hear it, it would have been okay.
Well, I don't.
Is it even bad to be like point out your buddy, be like, hey, look at her, look, she's hot? Is that wrong?
Zombie.
I mean, it's not like I've never done it, so I can't. I don't know.
I mean, this is the thing that's fun about this is that there are more good people in the world than bad people, and we are in the middle of figuring out how to behave with each other now, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't, it's fascinating. Yeah. What's going on with you and girls? Do you have a
segue into?
Do you have a? Is it hard to date and be you?
Well, look, I mean, I think in this business it's really difficult because you're traveling all the time.
You're
never
a
in the same place.
gentleman. You're a lover. You believe no, hold on. I'm gonna blow up your spot a little bit. You're a gentleman. I've raised my son to be a gentle. I broke the word down. A gentle man. Right. It's okay to be a man and be all of those nice things that a man provides. But the second part that I didn't get for a very long time was the gentle part, right? You are a gentle.
You didn't get that because the message out there of what is a man is like, I don't know.
Well, no, I
might have had it because, like, for example, like I have my past is in Eastern Europe,
right?
So that's a very specific kind of messaging that I was growing up, like, and so that's what I mean. I think sometimes when you hear gentleman and you're growing up, like, you don't really think that's always a good thing, or something.
Right?
And that's like a message you get, because. You have Robert De Niro and Raging Bull, and all that stuff, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, is that where you were getting?
Well, I was raised by two women, so I cherish females.
Me too.
Women that I like and respect, or that I know you're gonna roll your eyes, but on some level have earned my respect, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
Okay, I know, but like the women that I think are real, Mina, my girl, my sister, my mom. Other women that I respect, or I'm like, I cherish women like that. And then, as a single man, there's also the women that do things, and I'll judge them and be like, oh, that's not a very nice thing to be doing. Like, and so then it's different. I have a thing with. Sex and love is a little bit different for me. I cherish my girlfriend, but sex has never been about really it's not violent, but it's never been about intimacy or connecting. Like, I've had to learn how to do that with Courtney, like make love instead of having it be.
You never associated the two.
Yeah.
But you have had sex where love is.
And it's incredible.
And it is incredible and
Correct.
Sometimes way better. So then.
For sure. But I had to learn that. I had to learn how to be intimate sexually. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Instead of turning it into like this crazy sexual dark, not in a bad way, but just like they're well, no, they're
no.
You know what I mean? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we had a conversation a few years ago. I don't remember. You were with a girl, and you were really battling about being a good man. That's what I took out of it. Right? You weren't a scumbag. So in your life and with dating, your schedule's a nightmare. Do you always worry when you meet a new girl? Why does she really like me? Do you have that going on?
No, I don't. No, I don't think that. I don't. My brain doesn't go there. I mean, it never has gone there, to be honest. No.
Are you hard to date?
I'm sure I'm not easy to date. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not easy. I'm definitely not a walk in the park. For
Why
sure.
are you not easy to date?
Because I get in my own way. I mean, because
you overthink.
I think I overthink, but I also I think that I can be emotionally unavailable, and I think that's very tough. I think, and not all the time. I just mean I think and that's just, unfortunately part of this business. Like when you're getting caught up, when you're still trying to come up the ladder, when you're trying to, get these jobs or whatever, you're trying to do a good work, do a good part, whatever. Like sometimes you're not, but maybe that's something we all struggle with. Who can be emotionally available all the time, even after a year. How long have you guys have been together? How long?
My girl and I have been together five years in April, but there's a lot of times I'm not available emotionally. And there's times where she's actually always emotionally available. I have to give it to her. But I'll go through stretches of 2, 3, 4 weeks where I'm literally just living in my own world, and she has the fortitude and the foresight to understand that my person is currently in that place, and it's not personal to me. That's his own individual journey. He's got this going on, that going on, this going on.
Well, but that takes a very strong woman.
It does, and and she is able to sort of walk around me and be loving and be caring. She's an amazing person and partner to be with because she doesn't personalize. Because I don't like people. I definitely don't like. You got to understand. This woman I'm with, I am in a perpetual state of compromise. That's what relationships are.
100%.
Give, take, compromise,
and values, and what's valuable to you. Like if you know your values better, if you know what's your values, that's at least you got that going.
Have you been in a relationship and personalized when someone has been unavailable?
Of course. I mean, 1,000%.
And you think it's your fault, and what's wrong, and what am I doing wrong, and why do you not, and who do you like, and why?
Yeah,
you get into all of that.
Yeah, of course. Like I think it's hard not to. You have to be really
for sure. I think there's something happened. I don't know. I wish I could articulate the key to Courtney and I. I think the key to Courtney and I is that we are both very sure and committed to the fact that this is the relationship of our lives.
Right.
And so because we've both made that commitment to each other, there is a lot of leeway for her to be and do and act however she wants, because I know ultimately we have committed to this commitment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so therefore I don't personalize if she's A, B, C, or D. And I think that there's some
people call that marriage. But
right. Well, I mean, for sure. How about this? Do you like being single more than you like being in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, or are you a serial monogamist? What is your?
Oh, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm just laughing at some of my friends in the back, giving me a nice lie. I feel like I think there's pros.
You're
and
doing
cons.
great, by the way.
I think there's pros and cons to both. I mean, look, I think it's I like intimacy with somebody. I like doing something with someone. I like going to traveling with somebody, going to museums, whatever. Like having to that connection,
companionship.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, and sometimes that's very important. Sometimes that could be more important than sex, even. Although that's a tough,
way more important.
Yeah. But and I think I've seeked that, in one way or shape or form, and but you can't always have that. I mean,
do you want kids and all that? You must.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love kids.
The world would be a shittier place if you weren't a dad. You know that, right?
Well, that's very kind.
Well, no, I don't. Like Ethan. I mean, Ethan has to be a dad. Like he has to be.
The world would be a place if he was not a dad at some point.
No, but it's true. When do you want to get married and have kids and all that shit? I know that immigrant kids, they usually have this idea about when and how it's supposed to go down and at what age range. And
well, that's what I was saying, because my dad had me when he was 27 and I'm 35 right now. There is a part in the back of my mind that I go, fuck, I should be a father. I should be, I should be there for my son and stuff. And I mean, I should have kids already, and provide and all that stuff. But I have to remember that we're in a very different world than he was in.
Sure.
In the 1980s. And a lot of things have changed. And I think, one of the things I talk to my friends about a lot is like, you can't decide to be a dad because that's what you should be doing next. You
right.
know, you gotta know.
Just because that's the stop on the train.
Right. That's the stop on the train. And then, next thing you know.
People do that, though. They will make concessions because at this age, I'm supposed to be this guy.
But I feel like that comes back to haunt people later.
For sure.
And that's my biggest worry when it comes with it is like rather than, and everybody's like, but don't you want to run around with your kid or do you want to be like 60, whatever, while you're, you can't play ball with your kids and stuff. And I feel like I'm probably going to be a lot healthier at that time than my dad was, and it is now. But more importantly, you should have some idea of who you are.
For sure.
Before you try to tell somebody else how to be. So,
what is your favorite quality in a woman emotionally?
Favorite quality in a woman emotionally?
Yeah, like is it loyalty? Is it forgiveness? Is it...
The thing I despise the most is criticism.
So you don't like being in a relationship and waking up and hearing how you're not doing it
criticism
correctly.
Is definitely hard, but for me. But again, it's inevitable. That's part of life. But emotional quality, I think, is it's just the emotionally supportive to somebody who may or may not always be there.
The problem, here's the problem with this fucking guy. The problem is that it's so tough, and I ain't crying this dude no rivers. I mean, come on, he's got a great life, and it's all. But dudes. I have this theory, and I'm gonna play a song.
Can I also ask her a question at some point? I don't want to disturb what you're saying.
Fuck off. Ask her questions all day long.
Will you tell me what you think women want?
You mean just in general?
If I
already know this, but go ahead.
Listen to us.
Listen
and believe
to
us. Yeah.
And believe us. But that's coming from her perspective. I got the secret.
You do.
I do. I'm going to tell you the secret. I've told Ethan the secret.
Comes.
This is the greatest secret of all time.
Tell everybody.
Have I told you?
Yeah.
You say it all the time. I already know what you're going to say.
temple.
Here every day.
I'll tell you what you're going to say.
Hold on a second. You want me to tell you the secret to fucking love?
To this song only.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to change your life right now. You fucking kidding me? I'm going to say this would be the best day that ever happened to you. Coming on this show.
I agree.
Women need two things and two things only. For happiness. They need two things. That's it. You are here to provide two things. That's it. If you provide these two things, you can win in any relationship. You are here to provide safety and laughter. If you can provide safety and laughter to a woman, she will forgive most everything. She will forgive your not showing up, you wanting to go watch the football game while she wants to go do whatever. The lack of, because we all, the thing that we as men mourn the most about a relationship is we mourn the loss of being able to be irresponsible. Like, we want to do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it, right? And then when we get in a relationship, fuck, I got to show up for this. I got to do this. I don't want to do that. I want to compromise here. If you provide safety and laughter, a woman will follow you off the cliff, my man.
Profound.
It is.
It is. No, it's true.
You provide your woman safety and laughter?
Working for me.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a pretty good fucking look for a dude if that's what you were after, right?
That's a pretty good deal, yeah.
Safety and laughter?
Hard to turn that down, yeah.
You're capable of providing safety and laughter.
Yeah, and I have at different points in my life for sure. I mean, but safety I get you on. I mean, that's the thing we all want, right? Is some kind of certainty in a certain uncertain world. But
I want loyalty and emotional support, like you said. I want to always know that my girl has my back no matter fucking what. That's it. Even if I'm being ridiculous. I've been out there and been ridiculous. Off the reservation. Completely, completely wrong. Out of my mind. And I've looked back and known it and looked back and my girl's like, I got him. Like, even though he's crazy, and then we come home and I say, I love you so much for that. I am out of my mind. I'm so sorry. And then I'll apologize or do whatever. But my woman has my back no matter what. She's got my fucking back.
Because of safety and
Because I
laughter.
provide safety and
Right.
laughter.
Did you write that down?
Everybody's mind out there right now is
No.
exploding.
No.
I should just fucking write a book. Safety, laughter. $25. Self-help. Just 2 words. Safety, laughter. I'll even put 400 blank pages in it. And it's a Shane Powers self-help, find a way to love.
Yeah, do it.
Safety, laughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you should.
All right,
People would
when
buy
we
it.
get back. I mean, look at your life over there. I pretty much nailed a lot of it.
Yeah, you got it.
I want to get into what's over there. Okay, we did all that. Oh, we've got goals. I want to get into that. Ooh, set love. Got into that. I was reading your wiki. We're gonna get back. We're gonna talk Marvel a little bit. We're gonna talk about that amazing experience. And fuck, I don't know. This has been amazing.
You're doing a great job.
I'm thrilled.
love
You've been fantastic.
No,
you really
thank
have.
you. I mean, I'm glad I was involved in some good conversation.
All right, we'll be right back. It's the world's only 24-hour talk radio app. It's The Morning Drive. Shane Show. Have you seen Frank Ocean?
Live?
Yes.
I have not.
You should really work that out
Well,
before you die.
tell me when he's playing next.
Have you seen Frank Ocean?
No.
What kind of
No.
music do you listen to?
Oh, I'm all over the place.
Headbanger?
No.
Anthrax?
No, I'm all over the place. I'm definitely more into like 70s, 80s kind of stuff, but I can go where and 90s rap like a little, but nowadays if you ask me like
Yeah, what's on your thing right now? What are you listening
all I
to?
listen to is that song No Limit.
What's
And who
No
sings
Limit?
that? Who sings
Is that
What's the No Limit shit? Is that some rapper
that
guy? I don't
Post
know.
Malone? That's all.
Oh, Post Malone.
Post
But
Malone.
it's not. No, it's not him. I just mean No Limit is another guy.
Is it G-Eazy? No.
That's it.
Is it G-Eazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That
the song
is
you
really
like.
Great.
All right, here we go. We got this guy blew up the
Oh, yeah,
the message
fans'
account.
questions. Get to
Fans
that.
have questions.
Yeah.
First of all, this is we'll go to Twitter real quick because this is amazing. This one was great.
He looks thrilled.
Ask Seb how embarrassing it is sitting next to you listening to the garbage you come up with.
Oh,
That was nice.
Dear God.
That was nice of that lady. Okay, I just wanted to tell you guys that you're awesome. I don't need that. I also wanted to, okay, hold on. I love Sebastian so much. Okay, great. I need questions, man. I know the guy's great. Tell Seb nobody wants Bucky Nat. What does that mean?
Nobody wants.
What's Bucky Nat?
Bucky and Natasha, which is Scarlett Johansson's character.
Bucky Nat.
So they have a storyline in the comic books that they could develop into a movie, and I guess that person.
Nobody
feels they
wants
shouldn't.
that.
I guess nobody wants
I
that,
want
according
that.
to this
I
person.
kind of want to see that. What is
Can
that?
y'all ask Sebastian to say rather again in a British accent? Thanks.
Rather.
Okay.
Don't ask me to do.
We're
a
nailing
British
these
accent.
down here.
Yeah.
Women want to know they are loved and are important. That's all. And that, okay, great. Answer the questions, please. People are they get fired up about this guy.
They have a right to.
When will you come to the UK? That doesn't sound creepy. Question for Sebastian: what's his favorite movie that he has been a part of?
Probably
Are you allowed to
I,
answer that? I, Tanya.
No, I Tanya's, yeah, it was definitely and the Winter Soldier movie. I had it. That was another good one. I had.
He's got to see. You can't answer that because then you got to start thinking of okay. Will you post your interview with Stan? Yes.
What movie did you like, not I, Tanya, amongst the new movies that are going to be nominated? What was one of your-
that I've seen this
Yeah.
year. Oh, I mean, I really liked Lady Bird. I did.
You did?
Yeah, I thought that was. I know how
Do you understand
felt.
my criticism about it?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've like that there's I think there's
I've seen
truth
it a lot.
to that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's also something that I feel like sometimes we need to keep seeing again and again because it's like, it's like what happens with age. Like you lose the things you think are important at a specific time may not be important.
And I'm not
saying.
saying that it's listen.
But-
It's not a bad movie, but that Margot Robbie's better than her in that. I mean, if you're like arguing about awards, which is stupid, Margot Robbie should win for Tanya Harding. I 1,000%. I'm not lying to the guy because he's here.
She might be getting the Tanya Harding treatment. Right? Tanya?
Oh, right.
What was?
Well, no, but Tanya Harding was the best skater, but she got the treatment because she didn't have she wasn't like all the other figure skaters. They wanted a certain look, right? So she was the best skater. So maybe just because she's Tanya Harding,
I don't know.
It was just-
I think there's a lot of real. I mean, listen, like 3 Billboards is a great movie. I mean, that
Yeah.
one.
Fargo.
Amazing. Frances McDormand.
She's amazing, but isn't that movie Fargo? Isn't it Fargo
it's not
2?
Fargo.
It is not. You saw it?
I saw it. I loved it. She's a badass in the movie.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve everything she gets. I just saw that billboard. I was like, I saw that movie 15 years ago. It's called Fargo.
That's stupid.
Okay. Love from Hong Kong. Which scene is your favorite in I, Tonya?
Oh dear God! I know maybe
these questions are stupid.
Maybe
That's
the
a
scene
stupid question.
where they meet by the car, and they get their first kiss. That was a good. That scene was.
You like that scene the best.
That's a great scene.
I do like that scene only because I think it was, because it's awkward when you're, meeting people and you're, because it was awkward. I feel in like some authentic ways. At least it felt when we were doing it.
It's interesting. Okay. Well, his favorite scene.
You want one from Twitter?
No, I don't like Twitter. Oh. Stop being so personal and offensive.
This one's a good one.
I guess that was me. Sebastian is single, and so am I. You get a lot of you get a lot of that. I would imagine at this point, right?
No. I mean,
Crazies.
I don't have Twitter, first of all, so I don't know. I mean, all I have is Instagram, but I get a lot of, just.
You have anybody that's? Is there anybody that's been dangerous yet?
Dangerous,
like a stalker or any of that? Does that happen?
I don't think so. No. I mean, knock on wood. I don't.
Okay, well,
so.
you should know.
No one's been. Been strange.
Question. Is the work schedule for the Marvel movies gruesome as hell, or is there too much fun to complain? This is a question. I didn't write this.
Yeah. No. There's definitely a little bit of both for sure. I mean, I think it's gruesome because you're never shooting in order. So you're like, I could get a call. It's happened. Like I've gotten a call. You're coming in on Thursday for a day, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll change everything around that, and then. But it is a lot of fun too. I mean,
what do they do with your with the like? If
I had to get a wig this time because there's no way I had enough time to grow the hair out. But they that's what they want. They want the long hair. So
all right, and what's coming up? Infinity Wars.
Infinity War, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
What happens? I saw the last one.
I think you talked about it.
I saw
the Civil War. Right.
I saw was it called Civil Wars?
Yeah.
I put an S on everything. I was confused by a lot of it. I mean, it's a lot. It's blowing and the cars and the thing and running around and the actions but then there was at the end, you're on the airfield. They're coming from everywhere. I can't keep track of all of you.
Everything.
There's 40 of you.
Right. There's gonna be more this time.
What do you mean? There can't be any more.
65 actually.
And all of them? Is that madness?
It's insane. I mean, I'm glad I'm not the one deciding how to put a 2.5-hour movie together with that. I mean, it's just, I don't know how they do it.
And when the airfield scene, and it's just everywhere you look, there's a guy, the egos on this movie set must be off the chain.
I mean, I'm sure of it. I mean, I think from what I've seen, to be honest, it's always been everybody has like a really, really like great laugh. I mean, I haven't seen, and this one was a little strange for me because a lot of these people in this movie I hadn't worked with before. Like I never, I mean, Downey obviously I had seen in the last one, and I always enjoy like seeing him. I mean, it's like
he's the glue to all of that, right?
He's I mean, it started with him, and it's he put everything on the map. I mean, in a way, it's crazy.
There's no way that fucking Infinity Wars with the people running around, and I'm just looking and I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's that guy, there's that guy, there's that guy. This must be a shit show on the set. But if you have a great leader like Downey, who's as respected as he is, no one's getting out of line, I would imagine, right? It's like a football. It's like a team at this point.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, not from what I've seen. I mean, I just think, it's they just know how to, like, Hemsworth is so funny. I mean, there's just some funny personalities. I mean, Mackie is hilarious. I mean, like
Renner, the Black Spindle or whatever. I don't know these names. Isn't he the fucking Arrow dude?
He's got the That's amazing. Yeah, I mean.
The Black Spindle. I just renamed him.
I feel he would love that. He'd love hearing that.
He would. You guys have to be having fun.
No, it's a lot of fun, even when it gets chaotic in the sense, and it always gets chaotic because you're like, wow, like how do you tell a scene with all these people in it? How do you serve each of these characters basically in a movie like that? But you wouldn't be able to do it unless they had 10 years worth of time to get you, up to speed and where it's arrived. And so you already know everybody in a way, when
I was never were you a comic book kid?
No, I didn't have them when I grew up.
I didn't read comics. They weren't a thing. Were you you were sort of a comic book guy, right?
I'm really proud of my Spawn collection. Spawn.
Which one is Spawn in these movies?
No, they don't. They already did Spawn movies, but they haven't remade any of them.
A long time ago.
There has to be there. You've been doing this. How many of these have you made?
I did. I guess this one would be my fourth. Yeah,
okay, and 4. I was reading somewhere because I did a little research. Oh. You're on a 9-picture deal here.
That's what they told me in 2010. It's been a few years since, so I think that's still a fact. But
are you ready for that part of your life to be over?
No, I don't know about that because I get very nostalgic about, I like giving credit where credit is due. And the truth is, like those movies for me were, I grew up through those movies. I mean, like I'm in life. And so with these people to some extent, I mean, I've seen, that's the thing. You go like a year goes by in between and you go and you see each other again, you pick it right up. And so I don't think I'm done with that. I also lucked out because I really like the character. I think
he's the coolest one.
It's just gives me a lot to play with. So I have a good time when I get in there. It just
was there a thing at the end? Did they fight at the end? Does the winter dragon fight somebody at the end?
Winter soldier, yeah.
You fight somebody at the end of the last one. I had to leave the
I had to leave the movie. Yeah.
Well, no. My girl and I had a thing, and I'm old. I was on overload after the airfield scene. I was anxiety ridden. And then I'm like, I was through. And then I had to leave and you went to some winter. Did you go to some?
We went to a winter. Yeah. We went to where he originated, so to speak.
And you guys battle.
And then there's a whole big, show off with Downey. Yeah.
That must have been fun. I think he's one of the great actors ever.
Well,
you learn from him.
I mean, without a doubt. I think watching him, is definitely, it's very inspiring. I mean, look, he's somebody who wears those scars on his sleeve. You know what I mean? Like, and proudly so, and is very, kind of like, I don't know, like I still think he's very humble and given like his trajectory and all that. So
it's interesting. Downey and I have had a friendship. We haven't spoken in many, many years, but we there was a kindred spiritness because of our ailment.
Right.
And I very much appreciate, at least from what I see, he's got the same sort of take on life that I do, which is we're both living on borrowed time, and we're both very humble and grateful for everything that we have from whatever day out, because it gets dark. If you're a real guy, if you've got a real problem, it can get very, very dark. And when you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm not a prisoner anymore, you're very, very grateful for everything that's beautiful. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's got, I'm sure it must be, I've seen him work too. He's a special guy.
No, he's also like, I still think that there's going to be a beginning again with him that we haven't seen yet. Because he's, like people sometimes forget like how,
well,
who can do Tropic Thunder like that? Who could do a role like that?
There's nobody that can do that.
That's insane.
No, there's nobody that can do that and be likable enough to get away with it. Yeah. Usually, you do something like that, you'd have a backlash and a fallout and this and this and that. And he's just so likable and so good, and everybody roots for him to the point where they allow themselves to be in on the joke. Does that make sense? Because that performance is incredible. Everything that guy has ever done is great. I just want him to stop doing I want to, because there's a back end. This guy, I want to see real films. And I'm not saying that the cartoons aren't real films.
No. Yeah,
I want this part of his life to be over so that he can go make some of the great art ever.
Go back to like Chaplin and some of that stuff that he was doing earlier on. That was great.
And I think we'll get that, don't you?
I'm sure he's thinking,
in that
about
realm.
more of those things. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Love from Hong Kong. We already got that one. Love from Hong Kong. Okay, she really wanted to make sure she got in there, evidently. Love from Hong Kong. All right, we got it. Can you ask Sebastian? No, I won't. These people know about your life.
I mean,
this woman wanted me to ask you if you were still with a girl, like and named a name. Question for Sebastian: do you approve for cutouts of you to exist?
Oh.
I don't think I have a lot of choice in that.
Interesting question.
You got approval on every cutout. Right?
No. He doesn't. I bet Downey does, right? I mean, with the
approval? No, I don't have approval.
You don't have approval, but I'm sure Downey gets to approve what he wants. But when you sign on to that Marvel world, they own all the merch and all that stuff, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's not a conversation for me to I mean, I don't know about it.
I'm done with these. You guys were terrible. These people that asked the questions, you guys didn't bring nothing up that was any good. I'm ashamed to be reading. To the main radio host, please lower your voice. I'm getting a headache. That's amazing.
First time listener.
I enjoyed that.
I like that.
I'm not shitting you. Love from Hong Kong.
No, I love that.
Another love from Hong Kong. Same message. I'm going to give this email address to the authorities. This is a great question, and then we're going to get out of here. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and then where do you see yourself in 20? Let's start with a 5. Just I know, but in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself professionally and personally?
I think personally, I think I could see myself in 5 years. I could see myself have kids.
You could. So you want that to be done in 5 years. You want children.
I could see that be a possibility. Yeah, but I mean, professionally, at the same time, I'm like, along with that, I would say I would have worked with, with decent sized parts with like some of these great directors.
Right.
That's the plan.
And you got the movie with Nicole Kidman coming out.
I mean, I have to start doing that here in LA.
And you start filming
a great
it.
Director, yeah.
That'll be fun. That's a big deal. That's a fucking big deal. Are you opposite Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
It's you and her.
Well, there's a lot of other great people in the movie, but
you're two.
But she and I are an item in this movie, actually, to some extent.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. I wanted to ask this thing because this is what freaks me out about dating an actress. I got something in the wiki. Do you date or end up falling in love with the co-stars of your movies? Is this a thing that you guys do? Because I get terrified. My girlfriend looks at me and says, "I got to go work for 90 days in Mallorca with Sebastian Stan." I'm out. I don't know how I'll deal with that.
But she has safety, so
I know. No, I know. But when the cat's away, the mice play, man. And then you're the dick. You're like, I go on the set, and then I'm the loser that's like fucking freaked out that my girl. Like, how does that? Because this happens. You guys fall in love. You're supposed to be the part of your art is you fall in love with people.
Well, I don't think you have to. I don't think it's required. I mean,
but it happens.
to have like an organic connection with somebody. I don't think it's required for you to do that in real life, but it happens. It's happened certainly, and it's definitely happened to me. I mean, like it happens because it just depends on where people are at.
Long hours.
It depends on where people are at emotionally. For one thing, because that's the we're going right back to the emotional support. If you have that,
Is it hard to differentiate the true from the false if you're in a role and you're falling in love in the role? Because acting is about connecting, is it not?
No, it is connecting, and I've definitely been in situations where I worked, and there was not, where I felt like it was not, even though we were supposed to be connected and we weren't, and that's fine. But it is what it is. I mean, it's just, again, it's a communication, it's a dance. And it really depends about, but you got to be.
I'm out. My girl ain't going to fucking do a movie with this dude for 4 months.
You have trust. You have trust.
It doesn't matter. Trust is one thing.
That's acting.
This guy's a charming, gentle, nice, wonderful human. They're falling in love on the set.
That's acting.
Falling in love, and I'm here with the fucking cats digging the poop out of the thing, and she's falling in love with this guy at work.
That's your own
she
personal.
knows you're digging the poop, so she's loving you more.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
No, she's not. She's falling in love with this fucking asshole.
Can I ask you a dumb question? This is a dumb question. Right. I don't know if this was a joke, but I saw this. Are you really going to be the next Luke Skywalker?
That's so funny, man.
Is that like possible?
Hold the
like,
phones.
was that just
Anything
a joke?
is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean,
Great question, Vanger.
I definitely
look at him stammering.
I definitely asked this weekend a person who actually could hold the key to something like that ever happening, whether or not they were enjoying this, sort of what was on the internet about it, and they certainly enjoyed it. So but I don't, I can't tell you it's like a reality right now.
No, I read, I don't know if you said this,
but it's remarkable that this man and I look so much alike.
You kind of look like this cat.
And also, this person says
you're
to me,
way better looking, but you look.
Does that mean that's how you're gonna look in a few years? And I was like, maybe.
Well, no. I think that guy liked to drink, and I think he got the car scar and the whole thing.
Oh, I don't know.
You'll look way better than him.
But apparently now there's on Wikipedia that we're related. So believe Wikipedia, if you want.
Wait, so there's rumors out there about him playing Luke Skywalker?
Well, I
Vanger?
read that if they did do a movie, it would be after Jedi, before this movie, so that area where he's.
It would be after the old movies. Yeah. I mean, that's where I would fit in. There's no.
Well,
other
they
way.
did. They're doing a Han Solo spinoff that I want to see, so I would definitely pay to see it.
How about this? Would you want to get yourself into another thing like that? Another franchise of 37 movies? You got real. You're a real actor, for Christ's sake. Now you got real movies to go make. You want to get yourself locked into another 9 fucking where I'm looking at you like, and all I see is Luke Skywalker.
I hope. I mean, listen, I'm with you, but real acting isn't necessarily going to get you hired. What's going to get you hired is sometimes whether or not people are going to show up at the movie theater. So
I feel like I'm reverting back to 6 years ago where I'm like, don't do it. Don't do the Skywalker role.
It's definitely not a reality. So you don't have to worry.
That's a wraparound.
What else you got, Vanger? That was a nice question.
No, that's it. That's
kind of
all I
shocked.
got.
You got anything, Zoms?
Oh, yeah. You want the Twitter question now?
No. I don't like Twitter. You got any personal questions for him other than the fact that you accept his face?
Twitter question was also my question. I'm going to ask it. Get out of here.
All right.
So she wanted to say that you seem very level-headed and you don't let fame get to you. And how do you manage to keep yourself in check?
You have good friends, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That's what you need.
It is.
You got to have the good friends to tell you when you're an idiot.
You got to have people willing to look at you and go, you're being ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
You're being fucking ridiculous. So, listen, I'm sorry. I know you got what you think you got. And I know that's a nice suit, and I like the table and the Golden Globe, but you're being a douche. You got that.
I mean, I feel like most of those successful people that we talked about have good friends.
They do. It's a must.
It's a must. Yeah.
This was amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, brother.
You were great.
I'm a huge fan, so it's good, man. I love it.
People's minds are exploding, man. We covered a lot of territory. We had 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
that's bananas.
You didn't screw it up. You did a great job.
I did?
No, you did not screw it up. You did a really good job.
That's very sweet of you, Vanger. You didn't have to say that.
I know.
Tomorrow night, we'll be back at the normal time, 10 p.m. Stelio's coming in.
Okay.
We're going to hammer out a bunch of this Trump stuff. We're going to get into what's going on with his mental state. He's going to have to sit down with Robert Mueller soon. And the lawyers for Trump are figuring out how to do that because they don't want him sitting in front of Mueller pontificating answers because the guy lies every 3 seconds. And a lie in this scenario would mean he would go to jail. So they're trying to figure out so we're going to have Stelio come in and break all that down because he's got a law degree and he's very articulate and he's a friend of mine. So we'll have him in here. But this was amazing.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. I loved it. Yeah.
Did you have fun?
I did, of course.
He's never coming back.
Nah, when you come
I'll
back,
be
come
around.
back.
I think he'll be back, man.
If you do another one of those world record things,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
for God's
Let's
sake.
do it
That
again.
was amazing.
Undefeated First on the Bread, Jimmy Bonnie the Finch, thank you. Shamrock Social Club, Cody and Mark, thank you. If you want gear, go to infiniteexpression.com, find yourself a Vangerville hat for the holidays. Well, actually, we're past the holidays. Just go get it. Also, this will loop on the app, and we appreciate all the questions, and you can listen to it live on the app for the next 24 hours until the next show. And it will also be going up on iTunes as a podcast, so you can fast forward, rewind, and listen to it 100 times if you like. We'll send that out. I'll ask Seb if he'll put something up on his Insta so that people can get it cracking. And we just thank you so much that we get to do this every day. I am so grateful that I get to do this every day. I want to kick myself in the face.
Go see I, Tanya. It's the best.
Go see
That's true.
Tanya. Go see anything else the guy's doing. Infinity Traps 2. It's gonna be great. Winter Dragons.
No.
Oh, hold on a second. I gotta ask this, and then he's not gonna answer it because he can't, because he can get sued for $16 trillion.
Okay.
But this is the one question
What's the worst he can
Danny
say?
wanted to ask. Do you become Captain America? Now, shh. I don't want him to answer because I don't want to ruin his life.
Right.
He would get sued out the thing.
Yeah, but good question.
But that was Danny wanted me to ask
Fantastic
it. He's
question.
not going to. And even if he would have answered, I would have taken it out because I don't want to hurt his life. White Todd, thank you. Zombie, thank you.
Thank you, Shane.
Danny, thank you. Danny, thank you. Seb, thank you.
man.
Banger Face,
Thank you,
you.
Sebastian. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shane.
Boston Powers, I love you. I am so lucky to be your dad.